Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Jeneth Blackert,
And I'm Karina.
and this is the Hot Hustle Morning Show. Today, we're talking with Sabrina Di Nitto, and we are talking about opening your body and your light body and what might happen when you do so, how that can make some quantum leaps in your life. Sabrina, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
We're really excited
Yeah.
to have you.
How did you realize that you had this talent, skill, whatever, your energy that actually was capable of helping people just expand and open to the light?
Well, I think I just grew in that. I think that when I was little, I had a normal childhood, and I did feel that a superficial life or superficial conversations, I wasn't really satisfied with that. So I just trained myself, and I think I needed to understand what my soul wanted me to do here. So slowly my soul came and made me remember all that. I tend to work or just be from the energies of the emerald tablet, as above so below, so everything coming together into my core. And that's where I went in the last years, also with my book and modules and everything, guiding people towards their core. So I think, yeah, to respond to your question, it was a gradual awakening to the wisdom codes that my soul wanted me to access. And I think that is for many of us like that.
Yeah.
That's so fascinating and inviting because a lot of people we've had on the show have said, that they started having maybe gifts or they would have ways in which they interacted. And maybe we all kind of have had some stuff that we had when we were little, but really you're telling us about how you really came into teaching yourself and really following the energy to find the emerald tablets. Can you talk a little bit about what led you to actually, looking out? And how did you find the emerald tablets? I think is my real question.
Right.
How did I finally what?
Yeah, the emerald tablets. And how did you know that that was the way that you were going to connect with yourself?
Well, for me, the Amla tablet is about that everyone is cosmos. I am, and you both are a replica, a micro replica of cosmos, a fractal of cosmos. And so it's not that I departed from that idea, but I ended up with everything that I did. That was always my conclusion. So as we are many people on earth and many are awakening and many have their teachings, I could conclude for myself that that was mine, that I wanted to bring everything together into the core and from there expand, but with everything very high vibrant and with a reset. Well, we have a baggage, I would say, an earthly baggage, even a cosmic baggage in this segment of this cosmos. So we endured a lot. So bringing everything back, cleansing it, resetting it to the original code, and then expanding again. It's, well, I wanted to say it's wonderful, but it's actually more than that.
I would imagine. Yeah,
It's not
so
a code, or it's not a specific code, or it's not something specific. Sure. So the wisdom codes, for me, it's a term that I use. But what I intend to say by that is that when I started to really feel what I was doing here, I had these layers that wanted to come in, these, I would say, the like tablets, tablets that I could really feel them, and they were pressuring me. So those were my wisdom codes wanting to come in. They belong to me. It was the wisdom of my soul, what my soul harnessed throughout all my lives. And we all have that. You have that, I have that, most of the listeners, we have that. We just need to choose, do we want to unpack that? So we all have our wisdom codes, and the emerald tablet, or my book, as I call it, my light tablet, it's about understanding that there is cosmos, there are many people, there is cosmos, many verses, and there is us. And actually, it's the same thing: as within, so without; as above, so below. So when everything comes to the core essence, that for me is the Emerald Tablet. It's an aspect of the Emerald Tablet.
So let's put this kind of more in real world terms so people can know how that can actually affect them and how it can change them if they let these tablets drop into, or wisdom codes drop into who they are. Can you give us an example of how you've worked with somebody and integrated the wisdom codes with them?
Sure. It's mostly in my enlightenment module, the Venus Light Technology, that I work towards that aim. And what happens there is that the people that I work with, my clients, are people that have a lot of experience in working with light. They tend to follow courses that they are teaching or that they slightly changing to their own system. But it tends to be all the same thing. But when you work with wisdom codes, what happens is that you access the pure consciousness of your soul, and that you teach who you are. Your teaching is not a thing that you're giving people. Your teaching is you. So what they're bringing forth is the extrapolation of their soul wisdom. And actually, in how our discussions go, we are all a fractal. I find that we are a fractal of cosmos. So there is cosmos-like being, the divine mother, the divine father, and we are the children metaphorically, but we are fractal. So we are almost identical replicas. But if I, for instance, am very true to myself, and with my wisdom codes, I bring something forth that is unique and authentic, I self-realize myself in my manifestations. And as such, that which I manifest, the divine mother and father or cosmos sees, okay, this is me. So it's showing me who I am. I am so much. I am so multifaceted. And those souls, they're not copying or just being behind shades. They're truly going in and harnessing all that they are. And by them being so loyal to their light and so honest and pure, I can see who I am because they're showing it. They're manifesting it. And that's what completion and cosmic ascension is about, that we are identical replica of creation, and creation is just waiting for us to be true and to not copy things of other people, work with things that are not really ours. It's
I went through
resonance. It's not.
I was going to ask that.
Yeah.
Is this what some would refer to, or is referred to as, our signature resonance? That word kept coming to me in meditation, signature resonance. Like, I have my own, you have
signature.
It's not duplicated in that way.
You're literally making a core.
And the thing is, once you tap into that and you anchor yourself in that signature resonance, then I always say to the people that join my courses is that they have their own orchard of souls that are waiting for them to unfold themselves, because they're waiting for those teachings. They're not waiting for someone else's teachings, because we tend to say, oh yeah, so many people are waking up, they're all doing modules. But if you're really true and you're just...
I love that.
Oh my God.
Bringing forth pure wisdom, your orchard is there because it's waiting for you. And that's what we need to do. There is no lack. I have people that come to me because they know they need what I'm giving. And other people go to someone else. And it's not because someone's better. It's just because it's what they purely need. Everyone needs to be in that signature resonance, as you say. Yeah.
I love that word. Yeah, well, it's interesting because I went through I hate the word authenticity phase. Because it was almost like the copycat word of everything. Like, people were naming their brands authentic leadership, authentic speaking, authentic, this and that. And then when you got into their work, you're like thinking, this isn't authentic at all, because
No.
we've done work on being. And that is kind of my work, is to get people to their essence, to their being. And, and you're even taking it to a different level. I feel like, as we're in your presence, I notice that I just feel like I can't not be me. I mean, you almost are contributing so much to the collective field that I feel that way. Does anybody else feel like that on the line? I'd love to hear a yes, no, or I'm not sure. But I really feel like that is what you do, and that is who you are, right?
We got a couple yeses, and we
Yeah.
heard, wow, that explanation, and then it left. But that, wow, the explanation that we're teaching, and then the Orchid Source, a lot of people
Yeah.
resonated with that too. Orchid of Souls. I
Well,
think
let's
that's
talk
awesome.
about the process of getting more to, shedding off these constructs, shedding off these lies, being hurt so much by somebody else saying something to you. Like, let's talk about these constructs of the world and how we can get back to our true, core wisdom codes, as you put it.
What?
Well, what angle is coming through you?
I think in general, people carry a lot of hurt. When I work with people, there's hurt from ancestral lines, but there's also hurt from a major wound, and that is the twin flame wound, in the sense that there's the primordial separation wound, and that reverberates these are my findings, that it truly reverberates into our current life. And I think everything that we experience in terms of hurt, abandonment, rejection, feeling lost, feeling alone, thinking that we can't handle life, we need to grasp someone to help us be, or not really doing what we truly need to do, but just doing something, because we don't really feel that even if we do it, we have a true satisfaction, is because we lost union with our other part. And the thing is, the twin flame, it's about the divine feminine and the divine masculine. But when on that core soul level, there is still that rupture, we don't find full satisfaction and bliss in life. Even if we are doing our soul mission, something is still missing. And so for me, healing that core wound with people is one of the first things that I do, because it's the integrity of the soul. The soul needs to be whole. People do many things, but if you don't depart from that level, what happens is that, you do many things around, but still the feeling is not the same. So for me, hurt and all those projections then that happen, because that's what's in life not so nice, that people keep projecting these things onto each other. It makes life quite hurtful and not really resonant with the Garden of Eden.
No wonder we're so polarized, because everyone is walking around with these core wounds.
Yes.
So they just like ping pong in
wow.
anger and fight off everyone.
Yeah.
It's infinite, and it keeps reverberating in lives until people heal their core wounds. So in my work, I focus on the core soul and the wounds that are there. I stopped doing regressions. I stopped doing healing. I just work on core patterns. And then I infuse the pure light codes, the wisdom codes. That's what I do. I don't work around things anymore, because it didn't satisfy me that much. I felt something was missing.
Golly, there's a lot of excitement, a lot of resonance on the line. Someone says, I got full goosebumps just hearing you talk.
And I think the next question might be, how can we get to one of these core wounds, right? If somebody on the line is walking around with what they know as a core wound, what would be an example
Or
of a
can
core?
we take colors?
Yeah, and I was going to hit that, but
Sorry.
can we, what is a core wound? Is that like abandonment from a mother, or is that even something we've created where we're, have obsession or this constant lack or this constant need to change something? Are those the core wounds that like never seem to get resolved? So even if you are experiencing some lack of fulfillment, you would say that goes to a core wound.
That's a good question. In first instance, I would say yes, but there are phases. For me, there are also phases where you have a lack of fulfillment, because when I went through my embodiment of my cosmos, I went through many, many layers, and even I healed all my core wounds. When I downloaded the Venus Light technology, afterwards, I had a pain between my shoulder blades for months. I did so much. No one could help me with that. So then I downloaded the Twin Flame Soul Union, and then it left. So I healed all my core wounds. But then afterwards, if I felt lack of fulfillment, it was because I was taking in all of my cosmos, and it was heavy. And I had pain in my bones and in my bone marrow because I was cleansing all that I needed to cleanse to not be triggered by anything anymore. So I would say yes, lack of fulfillment, core wounds. But at the other side, if you are on the path of cosmic ascension, that you want to be a replica of cosmos and just be clear, not go into a linear ascension process, but just being it, then all those different layers, I do like this because cosmos is spherical to me, my perception. And so all these different layers come in the body because your body wants to cleanse it. Your bodily codes want to reset as well. So in those moments, I also had a lack of fulfillment, to be honest. I think when we're processing something, we have that. But the core wounds for me is the basis, I would say.
So how do you get to, how do you help people do this integration? Is that through like an activation? Is it through meditation? Like, what is your process?
Well, I have different ways. If people say I want to go full in, I just want to be blissful. I want to be resonant with the Garden of Eden. I want also for my bones to be very light. I want to feel light, and they usually join the Venus Light, and those are with activations. And I do weekly sessions, group session, individual session. So it's very dense and very intense. But if someone says I want to do my core wounds and just that, then I do sessions. I do usually 3 to 4 sessions where we address those core wounds. Or someone enters into the Twin Flame program. There are different ways. I usually adapt to what people want because people need to follow their own biorhythm. They know what's good for them. And so I just tend to follow what they feel resonates with them. But those are ways in which I work.
Yeah. Could we do an activation for the group or work with callers to kind of demonstrate your work?
And an activation on what you feel that would be resonant.
I'm wondering if we can go from lack of fulfillment and open the door for unearthing what that might cover.
Sure. Well, something will come that is resonant with the energies that are present. All right.
That's what I thought. You probably tap into.
Yeah. So let's tune into the energies that are present, and I'm already seeing, a white light portal, a big ring emerging. So, and let's all, everyone that's here, bilocating or being present, let's gather into that field of consciousness, to that portal. And close your eyes. And just allow yourself to interact with the light that is there, with the energy that's there. And I'm just going to work with what's here, okay? We'll see where this ends up. And allow that core essence that I already see emerging to this, that there's so much about you. Allow that core essence. And here, what I see is the group that is present wants to feel what the emerald energies are about, because that's what I'm sensing here. That's what I'm seeing from our group is emerging very bright emerald light. That energy is rotating, revolving. You are basically revolving your emerald essence because it is also within you. You are revolving it around all that you are. So you remember that specific code that all that you are is everywhere, and everywhere is all that you are. Just going to put my mic a little bit closer because I'm going to use some toning to bring the energies more present here. Yes. And the whole portal is also transforming into emerald essence. So there's a lot of curiosity about that. So let's go in. I use toning, I use light language, okay? So let's open up your heart to the extent that you feel comfortable to receive this. And there is a sort of DNA, it's not really a DNA code, but it's the code of the Trinity. The human, the spirit, soul. And if you unravel that, then within its core, it's that emerald essence that you are, your core, that connects all. So you don't need to look into the human spirit or soul. You just go to your core essence, which is a reflection of all that is. Allowing it to enter the heart, but also aligning the pineal gland, the third eye, coccyx, and when that energy moves within you, it's as if you come into an overarching position, that you don't feel that you need to look in between the human, the soul, the spirit, but you overarch that. You have an overarching view, and that gives you a different perspective in life. it makes you feel that you don't need to lose your time anymore in looking into these boxes that you spend so many lives looking into, that you can leave that, and that you can up-level yourself into a new way of seeing yourself. And your evolution as a soul. And let's do a last alignment, because what I feel here is that there is a different kind of self-love that wants to install itself in the heart, because going back to that level of overarching, which we lost during time, is also a deep sense of self-love, because repeating always the same patterns, repeating those same patterns, being in those same relationships, repeating the same hurt, we don't always realize it, but it's connected to sadness, because very deep down, we don't want that. So let's do this alignment, because there is a different level of love that wants to install itself. And allow it to really expand in the whole of your body, like a web, always refining and refining that essence of new love. It's new love. It means that you enjoy being good for yourself, being loving towards yourself. No more suffering, no more having to work for things. With this overarching position, you're ready to move forward in a different way. This will allow you to flourish, because the energy can go towards flourishing and not seeking. I think we are ready to wrap that code, the entire energy, as a summary into our system of what all this entailed, because I might have said some things, but so much is to be said. So let's take it all in so that all can unfold, not only the things that I mentioned. And so let's allow that to unfold in the coming period, according to your biorhythm.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wow.
Wow, I'd love to hear some of the insights that you got from that on the feed. I just feel a whole lot more present.
You're so funny. Christina said, I feel so much lighter. My tailbone has been stuck for years, and I feel like it has let go.
Wow.
Thank you. Excellent.
That's beautiful.
Yes, that's so cool. I feel the web of love expanding inside of my body. That was amazing.
Yeah.
The tailbone, I had that too. I had a period where I couldn't sit. And that's really about that your soul wants you to incarnate. That's the tailbone. I don't remember who said that, but no, that caught my attention. Yeah.
Like really incarnate in life.
Saying yes. There's so
Yes.
many in all that we do. In each phase, me too, still. I'm saying yes to life, fully saying yes. Yeah.
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 Choosing again each time. And the tailbone is very important in that regard.
Yeah. I found myself kind of going through all the different chakras. You know, because when we were in the head, you said pineal gland, and for whatever reason, that was like, all right, well, then all of them gets awakened. It's kind of fun. Yeah. Well, what are some of the results that you find from doing this work for you or your clients? Other than being present, I know that there's creations that have come through and things like that. Do you have some stories to share?
Usually I ask people to leave me testimonials, video testimonials, and they are all on my website so people can see them. The results that come is that people feel that they are not looking for anything anymore. They feel blessed, they feel light, they feel that they are overarching life and that they have a different view on life and that their body is very light.
Yeah.
But structurally light, not just light because we're happy in this very moment, but just very light. And that the relationships are very loving and emotionally neutral. Even with people with whom we had tensions, that there is an acceptance and an overarching view of the pattern. So everything is calm and a true feeling of what they want to do in their lives, what nourishes, not what brings in money, but what nourishes.
I love that. I really love that.
It's simple. What I'm saying is very simple. So I see many courses about wealth and abundance is good, but I feel that for me, abundance is, I feel that my soul takes care of me in every moment in what I need and feeling so light. That's for me abundance. Yeah.
Agreed. Because you can do anything if you feel loose and light.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true.
Like literally.
True.
Yeah.
And
You're
people
like,
react differently to you as well.
Yes.
I love that feeling. And, you know, it seems that I'm getting it more often, but I don't live in it all the time.
Dennis says, being true to myself and wisdom and not trying to express what I have studied and I'm familiar with, not being authenticate and real. I guess I had received that they were being more true to themselves. And then Raisha said, new love, being in love with self unconditionally. I love that. And then Lisa said, I felt very hot in my face. Like I had a hot flash, which I don't get. And I feel a total peace right now. I've had pain in my tailbone, which is now gone. Nice.
A lot of tailbones.
Tailbone is important.
And you've experienced that, so you definitely have called in.
You've definitely healed some tailbones today.
And you called in the people that most needed to resonate with this, right? Like, based upon what you just said, the people will find you, people that are most meant to work with you, that kind of thing. So I imagine this is pretty common for you to have people that resonate well with you and that have work on the same things that you would even talk about. Like for me, I've never even had a tailbone thing.
Did you? Yeah. My daughter has.
When I was little, but that was it. Yeah.
I just had it once as well.
It's so funny that I just haven't seen that very much
Never
come
people
up.
don't talk about their tailbones.
No. Yeah.
It's
interesting.
You wag your tail. Of course you want to talk about tailbones.
But I work a lot on the skeleton structure and I work a lot on the DNA and on the bone marrow because I work on embodiment. And so that's why I bring it all in.
It's kind of like we can just be in a session here without saying very much. right? Like there's not much that needs to be said. The energy speaks for itself.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. We're just like hanging out.
Do you want to see, maybe take a couple questions?
Sure. Yeah,
Okay,
love
great.
to.
If anyone
What kind of
has,
questions do you want them to, I mean, or how do you want it set up for you? So usually I ask the speaker, do they need to like give you one question with like an issue they're having in life? You know, do they need to give you some of the story? Do you just need their name? How do you work with them?
Oh no, they can just ask me the question.
Okay, great. All right, let's go to Dennis. Dennis, you're up.
Hi.
Hi.
My camera's not working, so that's why I don't have my picture up.
All right.
But the question I have is, I have cancer of the bone marrow, which is myeloma, and I also had a heart attack a year and a half ago and found out that I have some arteries that are blocked in the back of my brain, which are causing me to have kind of like a mental fog. So I don't, you talked about working with the bones,
Yes.
the bone marrow actually, and that's curiosity to me. So what is it that I could get out of that?
Well, I don't only work with the bones, but I do embodiment. So I bring our cosmic light so deep that it goes into the bones. But if I look at your energy, then what I see is that I'm going to try to explain it with the vision that I have, and then I will, you can ask me questions and what do I mean by that? But I see that your structures are a bit, how shall I say, porous. That means that they're very tender. They tend to crumble. So your old light structures crumble, and it goes a bit like this. So it seems that you have been carrying a lot of weight, and that you're tired in living according to your expectations or of others, or how shall I say, even societal, that you need to fit in and be resonant with expectations. And so there is new light that wants to come, but you have an old structure in place that actually wants to crumble down. It wants to crumble down, and it's not doing that. And I feel a lot of pressure on the skull as well here. So it seems that you are in a phase of deconstructing the old because the new wants to come. And the question is, how are you living that? Are you going along with it easily, or are you stuck in the sense that you don't want to, or from a deeper level you feel that you're not ready, because that keeps you in that intermediate phase of bones and bone marrow that's very crumbly. But it's not only your bones, it's also the old light. The old light is used to living a life in survival, kind of. It's the old earth light. It has to do with you're here, but we're in the old earth. We can't really fully unfold because it wasn't accepted. And there, things could have happened if we would have done that in last centuries. Well, people were murdered for that. So in our system, we dimmed our light. So I would say the old light are dimmed lights. But what I see in you is that it became very fragile and it's ready to crumble. And that's what I can see.
Okay. Well, that's okay with me if it crumbles.
It's your old system that wants to crumble.
Yes. No, I understand too. And part of what I've just been dealing with is I gave a presentation yesterday and I was so incredibly anxious about doing it. And I realized that what I'm doing is I'm trying to present something else. The Course in Miracles, or I was in a spiritual community for 16 years, and that kind of spiritual teaching, which was non-dual Buddhism and non-dual Advaita.
No.
And so that I was trying to do that. And the Course in Miracles is a real challenge when it comes to understanding it. But the trying to present something that is not coming from my authentic self and my own recognition and realization of the core of who I am, and how that can be expressed through me as an authentic self, as a person who's coming from my own stuff instead of somebody else's, which is, and that's been a real challenge for me because it's,
For some people, it's okay to do that at the moment. But if you have your new lights waiting for you and you're in that intermediate space with the old, then there can be inner tensions that could result in physical things. Yeah.
yeah.
One needs to keep evolving with what's coming. Evolution never stops evolving. Yeah.
We on this planet have now entered this age of ascension, which is of the new earth. It's a different frequency and a different light from the old earth. But and I can be wrong, Sabrina, you can correct me, but what I got was that your body and the way that you're living your life right now is of the old earth. And if you would just start letting some of this different frequency come in, then it will contribute to the change and the healing that you're requesting.
Yeah.
What I'm relating to is a different frequency is what I've actually posted on the chat box, is that the different frequency is being true to what I know and understand instead of trying to regurgitate what others know and understand. Not that I wouldn't incorporate that, but because some of it is incorporated as who I am now. But yeah, trying to give presentations, I've always been an anxious kind of person, and I got really, really comfortable with doing small groups, but
You know, that's for most people is when you are in an intermediate phase that we tend to hold on to who we were because we are afraid to embody that new light. And people doing my Venus light, when they felt their light coming in, they literally, I have one testimonial online. Her name is Noemi. It's a long one. It's an hour, but she's saying that it's really true that allowing that new soul light to come in is very fragile, because do we feel that we are worth it? Can we receive that? Can we receive all that unconditional love, that we are okay, that we have all our wisdom within, that we don't need to prove ourselves, that we don't need to work or earn credits for people, that we can just be? So that's a completely new way of being in life. And to go into that, it's not so easy.
Yeah, we're
I think
afraid
you
of
hit,
that
I think
because,
you hit the nail on the head.
yeah, of course we'd be afraid of that because we know what's worked up to now and we don't want to mess up what's worked to now, right?
No.
So to totally leap tracks, it's terrifying because we feel like we've got to hold on and not surrender.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
also, you know, that new thing that awaits us, the new thing in the sense of the new light, it's very vast and there are no points, anchoring points. You are your own anchor point.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
That's very nice, but it can feel very challenging. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, that's good.
Thank you, Dennis. So Sabrina, I want to go ahead and go through your offer, and then if you feel like taking a couple more, let us know depending on time.
Sure.
I just want to respect your time as well as the audience's time. All right, I just brought it up. Can you go ahead and go through living life as a light master? Love it. All right. I'll let you take over, Sabrina. Can you see the screen?
Yeah, I can see it. So
It doesn't say.
this is my webinar. It's a series of 12 webinars that I'm doing at the moment. And I'm actually in each webinar addressing, which is about how do we live as a divine human on earth? What are the challenges that we are facing? And also doing live activations, a bit like I did today, but those are longer. I think they're about half an hour. Every transmission is different. There are also some testimonials that people can read to know what it's about. That's the first. And then the second, give 2.
So there's 12 webinars. There's 12 of them. They're each 90 minutes long.
Approximately.
And I've already done 3. The 4th is coming up, but it's every month. People can sign up for the full 12 series or just doing one by one. It's how they wish to do it. And then the book I'm offering, I have copies of my book that I'm offering for free without the shipment that I can send. If for the webinars, if one purchases one, it has a specific price, but for the whole series, there's a discounted price that we are applying. And the other gift was to do I think a reading, right?
Yes. Go back over.
So let's just go through this and just talk about this.
Yeah, so maybe you can send the link of the reading afterwards, but it's a light fusion reading. So what I do basically is during a whole hour, I read your energy, but also your cosmic energy, your human energy, and to see where you're at in really embodying that, where you are in your light fusion process, a bit like, what I mentioned to Dennis, but really going into the quantum physics, what's happening with your light, what are the themes that want to be tackled, how could you do that? And also do already a transmission to get you on the go with that. And then you can choose in what direction you want. You can continue with me, you can continue with someone else. It depends on which orchard you are, of course. But it's a very nice way to have that overarching view of where am I as a human, and how am I going towards that divine self, and how can I embody that? What are my main enlightenment blocks? Everyone has a couple of main enlightenment blockages. So I name those, which is very enlightening to do that.
Okay, so you guys, I just want to go through so it's clear what you get. You get a webinar.
Sabrina, just so that we have clarity, you're including a webinar and then a live session into your
special offer.
Yes.
So one can do my webinars.
Okay, and that's what we're looking at right
here. And then
the
session is separate. I think that's why it's not on it.
Okay, how much is the session? We'll get that up for you.
Let's just get it cleared up.
And the session with your discount is how much were you doing that for us today?
In general, my session is 200 euros for an hour. But I'm happy to do it for the listeners of today for 150.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Great. So you can either join the 12 webinars for that discounted price with the book, or you can select the one-on-one session for the price of 150.
And we can set it up so that if you do want both,
we can get you a 2-pay option. So you can pay 1 month and then the next month. We want to make it really easy for you to be able to work with Sabrina. Thank you, Sabrina, so much.
Yeah, thank you. And sorry for the confusion.
It's okay.
I think it might be on our part, the way we wrote things up. So my apologies. Okay. And we'll get it cleared up. We'll get it really clear in the
You'll see, yes. And we'll also put that out in the replay. So you'll see that in the button, and you'll see the link there in the YouTube stream as well. If you have any questions, you can always email me at team@houttessel.com and I'll get you straight away. So we will get you all cleared.
Fabulous. Well, Sabrina, do you want to take 1 or 2 more callers? It's 12:15.
No, it's okay.
Okay, great. Let's do Christina Young. You're up.
Hey, hello.
Hi, Christina.
Fascinating. Thank you so much for putting this together. So I have a question regarding sort of clearing ancestral baggage. My parents, my grandparents, my whole family went through a lot during like World War II. They lost everything. They had to flee their countries. And I feel like there's a lot of that still inside of me. And I've had a wonderful, secure life, but I feel like there's still some of that that's following me around. And I'm not entirely sure how to work with that type of energy.
Yeah. if I read your energy, if I just look energetically, what I can see is that you're very much open to receive, to receive, and but the heart energy that I see is wounded. So you tend to attract things that hurt, in the sense that you might want to heal them, you might want to carry for others. So what I can sense is that there's a pattern beneath, that you don't need to do that. Maybe it's a pattern of your ancestral lines to want to carry, but you can carry yourself. You don't need to do that. That's what I see. And then in the end, because if you would leave that, your energy is very refined. It's very, I would say, almost elemental. You know what I mean with elemental? Like it's very refined. It has a very distinct vibration. But if I'm just looking at what is, I wouldn't see that, because you're carrying so much of so many. So yes, there are probably ancestral things, but I can sense it's a pattern too, and you don't need to do that.
Okay.
Everyone is sovereign. Everyone takes their own responsibility. And if we leave everyone take their own responsibility, then they'll discover they're sovereign. And so, and then you can just live your life and be in your very refined, almost magical energy.
Okay. So if what I'm hearing is really sort of focusing on my heart and just really sort of kind of almost like is it like just breathing into my heart and letting that energy go? Is that sort of the way to approach that kind of?
I would cry a lot for the collective and tell the collective they can handle themselves.
Oh, all right. I love it.
And just say, you all can handle yourselves. I don't need to carry you anymore. I have the mother energy, but I can realign it to being a beacon of light instead of carrying hurt. It's the same movement. You can't see my arms, but I'm doing like this, right? It's the same movement, but you can reset to carrying your light and let everyone come and drink it like a bird,
Okay.
Like birds come and drink at a water pool or something. So it's about turning around that pattern that is actually obsolete for these times.
Okay. And that makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, I feel like I've always been very sensitive to other people's hurt.
Yeah.
So I think they can handle it on their own now.
And then you can do your life. You can expand and discover who you are, which is much nicer than doing this.
Right. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, is it all right?
I totally could resonate with that, Sabrina. Sometimes I feel like uneasy, or I'll take on an element of like, oh gosh, anxiety, or even just wanting to. And sometimes I think I take that on for the collective. And so that felt pretty liberating for me as all. And I wonder if that could be the case for many of us on the line today. Thank you. Is there another caller that we want to take? Let's see. Jane has had her hand. Jane, you're unmute. We're asking to unmute.
Unmute you.
Go ahead,
Jane.
Oh, great. Let me get myself on camera here. Cool. Great. Wow. What an opportunity. Thank you.
Hi, Jane.
Hi there. I'm just in awe of what you do. I have had some health issues, and I had a really interesting experience last night, which feels like things inside me just shifted and opened up and lightened. So I'm just wondering if you could read my energy.
Yes. I see a lot of light. There's a consolidation of light in your pelvic floor, the pelvic area. So it seems that you already retracted a lot of your light. So you're mainly within. The rest of the body is almost like ashes. So I can see it very
permeable.
And so to me, this is a phase in which you are going back to your light and understanding what you don't want to connect anymore. It seemed that you were very open in connecting with all that was, but maybe less discerning to what was good for you. and all that is turning into ashes, like something that you threw into a fire, and the day afterwards what you find is floating. So this I can see, so that's good. I think it's all good. What I see is that you are rethinking in how you want to connect with life, going back to what do I truly want, and
Yes.
reestablishing different boundaries. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I just had this magical experience last night with the fireflies. They're just these luminescent beings. I was like, wow, I love you. You guys are so magical. And I just felt so light and open and free. I felt like I really was having this dialogue with them. And they started, like there were so many more of them. And they were like, wild. It was like I felt like I had a communication with nature. I never experienced that before. So
yeah, and maybe from that light that's consolidating, you will draw your new blueprint in how you want to be in life, and with whom you want to connect, and in which ways, and from which aspect of yourself. So it seems a very nice phase, but I can understand that you're tired because you're just letting go of so much.
very true. Yeah. I mean, the thing I keep saying is I want to experience awe, joy, wonder, lightness, laughter, love, and fun. And, drawing more of that to me. I want more of that in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Love that.
Good.
Thank
And we were also commenting how, like, if you were outside looking in and someone was just catching some of the audio, they'd be like, wow, what kind of drugs are they on? And I thought, I love this show.
Because we're all light, and we're like falling in love with life and everything, and you're talking like
I was communicating with
you
them.
might as well have said all the fairies came down
love
with
it.
the fireflies.
Yes. And you know what? I love that, because I did that with my grandma's house the other day. They were just everywhere, and it was just, oh, too cool, Jane. I could definitely see you having more of. And what did you say again? What was it that you keep asking for?
Oh, this has been a direction of mine for years. Awe, joy, wonder, lightness, laughter, love, and fun.
See, I love
Wow.
that.
That sounds like a 20-year-old.
Who needs drugs? We have you.
Right?
The mystical, magical maid.
Girl, you got away with words.
Oh, maybe put some of those in the chat. We can use it for the band.
Yes.
I will.
Yeah.
Sabrina, awesome. Well, you
so
got
good.
time for
Thank
one
you
more?
all.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yep. Yeah, we'll do it.
Might as well do it if you're good. All right, Karen, you're up. Karen went off to the.
Sabrina, I'm going to keep this short because my voice brings its challenges, as well as a lot of tension to my head. And eating does that too. Thank you. So if you could just read me.
Okay, so if I understand correctly, you want me to read your energy.
And what might I do to continue healing? Or what? A different way of thinking, maybe?
I don't hear you very, very well, but I'm going to read your energy. Is that all right?
Yes.
Okay, so if I tune into your energy, what I can see is that there is this body of water of sadness that you are feeling, and that you want to feel, that you choose to feel, that you don't want to walk away from. And it's a lot, and it's good. It's good, but there's also a different choice, and that is if you are in that body of water, you can make the choice to dive in, and there's at the bottom another way to move out. So this means, and what I'm getting here is that you don't need to suffer. You can just move through. You don't need to stay in things that make you sad, or in memories, or in just certain feelings or kinds of consciousness. You can allow yourself now to move through, because once you're feeling this at the moment, that's enough, actually. even if in life you didn't take, and that actually came true in my last webinar, this is about experiences. This is your experience, Karen, and you're experiencing as a human. But what's important is that you also know that the entirety of your soul also experienced that experience and extracted already all the wisdom codes, even of certain choices that you consciously didn't make, but it did extract the wisdom codes. So that is why, as soon as you are in a situation that's hurtful, or in a type of consciousness, that you can allow yourself to say, okay, I felt it, I gathered all my codes that I need, all that I need to know about this is within, and I can now move on. Because it's important to move beyond, and to trust on the fact that you know that's enough.
I nearly didn't because it looked really uninviting. But I'm aware now I was, like you say, holding on to lots of chaotic feelings and feelings of loss and regrets. Maybe I'm hanging on to.
Yeah. I think whatever
not
you...
picking up as part of that, I think. Sorry, I don't know if you heard much.
No, it's okay. I think however you're experiencing what you lived, I think you can allow yourself to move through that. So you can heal in different ways.
Yeah, I meditate a lot. I do meditate.
Yeah, that's good. But I'm not talking about meditation. It's really about allowing life back in.
Okay.
We can, in meditation, we can feel what we feel, which is good. And it raises consciousness about what we feel, but we don't need to stay in certain feelings. We can move beyond. I think you're ready to move on.
Okay. That sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, Sabrina, you're such a gift. Thank you. Thank you for being here and joining the show and changing our lives. It's like spectacular, absolutely spectacular.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed your company too. It was very nice.
Great,
Thank you.
Very nice. Very nice.
We love the
People and
audience.
divine beings.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for saying so. They're so, I feel like we have such a loving and non-judgmental and just a really, really just gentle community. Like we all want to just help each other and do really great things. Susie says, best wishes, Karen, and I feel the same. So thank you for being so vulnerable and sharing with us today, Karen. You help us all heal as well, and we are all here for you too. And then I can't read that other word, y'all.
Merci.
Merci.
She says merci.
I love it. Love it. Thank you. Bless you all, everyone. Karen said to us. Thank you, Sabrina. And we hope maybe you could come back so we can integrate some of your work, and then we can let you know where we are on the journey next. And I think what you share here is so unique. I really resonated with it in a way I hadn't before. A lot of what you said was, even Jeneth was sitting here, I have awareness.
You didn't even just say anything. Usually that means something kind of profound just came through me.
Even the way you said that there was linear, and then you perceive it different. It's more, spherical and cosmical. And I thought, man, that resonates a lot. And I hope the audience can receive that too. And we'll definitely get your special offer out here in just a little while.
Thank you all. Thank you for joining. It was nice to see you all.
Thank you, Sabrina.